And now, the Alan Brady Show.
Hi, I'm Alan Brady. You remember me from the Alan Brady Show?
Yes, if Alan needs any help.
Shut up, Mel.
Yes, sir.
Shut up, Mel.
Shut up, Mel. Yes, sir.
I had the best TV writers on my show. Rob Petrie, Sally Rogers,
Hey, I got it! Don't anybody move!
and Buddy Sorrell.
Well, now you moved, I forgot it!
On the Dick Van Dyke Show here,
Alan, if you're...
Shut Up, Mel, on Me TV.
Weeknights at 9:30, 8:30 Central on Me TV.
What's the matter with you?
Fall for Me TV. This fall on Me TV, Remington Steele.
It's definitely an emergency.
Oh yeah, also Emergency.
Please stay with me.
And more familiar faces.
You act like I've never been on television before.
Me TV continues to deliver the shows you remember.
I remember.
And you may discover shows you've never seen before.
Is that a threat?
Fall for Me TV. For a complete schedule, go to MeTVNetwork.com.
Hello, I'm John Mallos, and welcome to Connect with Me, live on the showroom floor here at Ventura TV on this Thursday. Hey, we've got a hot topic today. We're going to be talking about PG&E rates. We've got a person in our studio from PG&E to talk about that. We encourage you to call in if you have a problem with your bill, if you have a problem with your meter, if you have a problem with anything. Call in and ask the questions today about PG&E and your bill and your meter. 559-265-4331. Back in a moment.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
You know, I have a feeling today is going to be one of those days. You know, the weather is changing. It's getting a little bit colder. If you haven't been outside and haven't noticed yet, you're probably going to need a sweater. You might need a light jacket. And what does it mean to you and to me when the weather changes? That means that possibly your PG&E bill is going to go up because you're going to turn the heat on. Hello? Yeah, or you're going to turn some kind of device on to stay warm. Just do me a favor. Don't turn your oven on. That's very dangerous. Just turn your, obviously your heater on, or if you have a space saving or saver heater in your room, try to be careful because those can obviously catch fire very easily or cause a fire. But anyway, we're going to be talking about PG&E rates here today. We're going to be talking about some of the problems. We have a guest in the studio, but first I want to put someone's bill, a PG&E bill, up on the screen. Now, of course, PG&E is not floored by this, but look at this, more than $1,000 for August of this year. That's for 1 month. You want to change the graphic? Go ahead and change it. That's the next page. We're trying to protect the identity of the person who owns this bill and received this bill in August of this year. More than $1,000 for 1 month. We'll go ahead and change it again and change it again. You can see the various pages of this bill. Now, keep in mind, the bill in August was more than $1,000 this year for the same person, the same house, the same everything. A year ago, it was half the price. Now, how did it go up that much in 1 year? I don't know. I'm no expert. That's why we have live in our studio right now is Denny Boyles. He is here in our studio to take your calls, to answer your questions if he possibly can. He is a representative from PG&E. He will answer any and all questions that he possibly can. Now, he is not here so we can beat up on him. He is not here so we can be confrontational. He is here so we can have an intelligent conversation about PG&E, the rates, and what's going on with the rate increases last year, this year, and possibly in the future. 559-265-4331. If you're a little ticked off, call in, but be respectful in questioning our guest today. We're back in just a moment.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want.
This Amana Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is now just $6.99, and this heavy-duty Maytag Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is only $8.99.
Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
You tell me who I am.
They called you West.
Jim West.
Mr. West.
West!
Well, my name is James West.
A truly great man.
Brilliant.
Secret Service agent,
What's next? Come on, I'm waiting.
man of action. He's James West
Where's Jim West?
on the Wild Wild West. Weekdays at 4, 3 Central on MeTV.
Are you as confused as I am when you receive your PG&E bill? I mean, you look at it and it says current charges, previous charges, this charge, that charge. I have no idea what I'm looking at. I might as well be reading a book that was written in Chinese because I don't understand it. Anyway, Denny Boyles is here to talk about that. Denny, good to see you. You're from PG&E. Now, what's your position there?
I'm an external communications representative. Essentially, though, I'm the PG&E spokesman for the Fresno area.
Okay, now you said I made a slight error on the bill that we showed on the air. Let's put that up again. Page 1, it's more than $1,000, but we're talking about 2 months here, not 1 month. Still, that bill over $1,000, $600 for 1 month, but the previous year it was half of that.
If you can see on the bill, and I apologize, it's the first time I've seen this bill, but if you
No
look
problem.
right above total amount due, it says no payment had been received by the day the bill was printed. So what you're seeing, that $1,200 is for 2 months. So if you're saying the
Right.
year before their bill was half, that would be accurate.
Right.
And this is actually, you know, we work all the time to make sure that our customers can understand their bill. That's probably
But
the most
I want to
important
clarify,
aspect.
for 1 month, he owed about $600.
It looks
And we
like
want to
the-
talk into the mic here.
Okay, it looks like the previous month his bill, and again, first time I've seen this,
Right,
but the
I'm
previous
saying
month
the
his bill was
previous
about
year,
$600.
It was half of that, so it was $300 the previous year in 2011.
I'm not
Yeah.
seeing the bill, I don't know that.
Yeah.
But, you know, a lot of things can go into changes in your bill.
Like what?
Changes in the household, changes in electronics in the household. If you traveled a lot the month before, that same month the year before, the number of people living in the household.
Right.
As we dive down into customer bills, one of the things that we always encourage customers who have a question about their bill to do is contact us. We can look at their history, we can go over their history with them. And a lot of times you don't remember when you first received the bill what the situation was the year before. I could tell you my first 18 months with the company, I was in Bakersfield. We had just introduced the second generation of smart meters. We had a rate increase, and we had a very hot summer. Those three things combined for about 4 months of very unhappy customers, very angry customers. And we spent a lot of time going over customer bills one-on-one. You know, I won't say that we made every customer happy, but we were able to answer a lot of questions.
I will say on the air right here, for the record, because I have nothing to hide. I received a bill from PG&E just recently. You know about it because you got an email. I called your customer service line. I got really heated with the lady. It was not a very pleasant conversation because I hadn't used any more energy from the previous month or the previous year. I'm using the same amount of energy. I have an energy efficient home, energy efficient light bulbs, and my bill went up. Now, the problem that I've had with PG&E, and I hear these same complaints, is that when you call, there really is no resolution. The answer you get from PG&E is you're using more energy. That's why your bill is higher. And in many cases, it's not true.
You know, the thing I would say is that's not the goal that we want for any interaction with the customer. If you have a question and you call us, obviously our goal is at the end of the day to answer that question. I would say if there's a customer who's had that same experience, call us. You know, I'm not able to talk live over the air with a customer about their bill.
Correct.
But I'd be happy to look into it. I'd be happy to look into any customer's bill. I mean, our goal, you know, we're a unique company. All of my neighbors, everyone I see on a daily basis in Fresno, everybody I see at the grocery store, everybody at my kids' schools, those are all our customers, and we take that very seriously.
Right. We do have a phone call, and I hope it's a respectful one, and they don't get heated like I did with one of your customer reps there. But, you know, I mean, you know, heat of the moment, things can happen. Anyway, let's take this call right here. Good morning. Whoops, phone's not working. I don't know. I guess they took off, or they didn't. I don't know. Phone is not working there, Denny, so we'll have to, whoops, yeah, they took off. But I do want to play a a story
Okay.
that was aired at KPIX Channel 5 in San Francisco regarding smart meters. Take a look and a listen, something that you've seen before.
They're the new electronic meters PG&E is installing on every home in the Bay Area, called smart meters.
They're an absolute critical, necessary first step.
A first step, says PG&E's Andrew Tang, toward a new way of monitoring your energy use.
Now we don't need to send people to go to individual homes and to read meters every time.
Instead, PG&E will be able to read these meters remotely, and not just by the month, but by the hour. And they say they'll be able to control your usage remotely, too. So if there's a heat wave, they can turn your air conditioning down from a distance, which they say may avoid rolling blackouts and reduce the need for expensive power plants. In the long run, PG&E even promises smart meters will help customers know when to conserve energy so they can save money.
I do believe bills will go down.
But so far, many customers say the result has been just the opposite.
Her bill was $873.
When PG&E rolled out the meters in the Central Valley last summer,
what we saw is an outcry from folks from Bakersfield to Fresno.
After listening to those complaints, Senate Majority Leader Dean Flores told us,
I think PG&E has been less than truthful.
What about the explanations Flores says the company gave some of those customers, like telling them their old meters just weren't as accurate as the smart meters?
There's no doubt that PG&E has lied to its customers when it comes to replacing the old meters with the new meters and somehow saying that the old meters were defective.
Something Tang now admits isn't true.
Should PG&E customer service representatives be saying to somebody, well, it's probably just that your old meters weren't accurate?
No, they shouldn't. The customer service response, I think, is not consistent.
Tang blames the Central Valley's higher bills primarily on a hotter than normal summer. But if that's the case, why have there been complaints all over the Bay Area? Like in Pittsburgh, where Jennifer Kravanik's bill jumped from $80 to $329.
It just went up.
Or in Brentwood, where homeowner Steve Moon says,
I got a bill in December for $1,107. There's got to be a mistake.
No mistakes, says PG&E. After reviewing their accounts, the company says their meters were working correctly, just like those of the 1,500 other Californians who complained.
Out of that 1,500, we haven't found any issues.
But consumer advocate Mindy Spat says that still doesn't explain something else.
Customers with the smart meters claim that their energy usage has inexplicably risen since the meters were put in.
So in other words, it makes it look like all of a sudden they're using twice as much energy as they used to use.
Exactly.
Like Concord's Bill Galvin.
When you start getting bills like this, I mean, it just blows a person away.
He doesn't use his gas furnace much. His thermostat stays at 62 degrees, and his bill used to run about $100. But after he got a gas smart meter,
the last bill I received is $380, and how come, I don't know.
But when Galvin called PG&E to tell them something was clearly wrong,
all they would tell me is you're using too much power. They don't want to try to deal with you.
But after we asked PG&E, a crew went out to his house to check and found that smart meter was incorrectly installed.
We're incredibly sorry that this happened. This shouldn't have happened. Mr. Galvin's case is really one of the first cases that we found.
So you're saying Mr. Galvin has the only meter with a problem?
We are, to date, this is, Mr. Galvin's case, is unique. It's the first one that we've seen.
And as to the other complaints of higher bills, Tang says many consumers simply don't realize that rates have gone up.
If there was a failing on our part, it was a communication failing on the rate increase.
What do you think went wrong there?
We didn't communicate anything about rate increases.
And one of the reasons for those rate increases, the $2.2 billion needed to put in those smart meters.
The first people paying into this should have been the utilities, not the consumer.
From the consumer perspective, what am I getting for my investment in the meter? Right now, it seems like consumers have got nothing but trouble.
Okay, we'll turn you around here, Denny. Now, I want to point out, we got to go to break because we're running long. It was a long piece. I do want to point out that Dean Forrest is no longer in office. He was once the Senate Majority Leader representing the Central Valley up in Sacramento, and that story aired a couple of years ago. In fact, Denny Boyles was at that meeting. I wanted to run that piece to show you all about smart meters and some of the problems and complaints that customers had when they were installing some of those smart meters, and certainly that piece highlighted some of the problems right here in the Central Valley with the extreme heat in the summer, and of course it gets pretty chilly in the winter. We're going to have Denny Boyles respond to that piece after this brief timeout.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high-efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Can't believe we haven't had any phone calls. We actually had one, 559-265-4331. If you're having a problem with your smart meter, you have a question about your bill, call in today. Ask Denny Boyles a question. He's only going to be here another 15 minutes or so. But quickly, your response to the story that we just aired. I know it was a long piece, and there was a lot of detailed information in there.
Well, you know, as you said, the story was 2 years ago. We were pretty early into the smart meter deployment process. At this point, we have over 10 million smart meters installed, and we've learned a lot along the way. You know, one of our admitted mistakes in that process in the beginning was how we communicated the logic behind the smart meters, why we were doing the smart meters, and the process of going through it. Senator Flores and a lot of those complaints originated in Bakersfield, where we had gone in, installed a first generation
But if you can have problems in Bakersfield, you can have problems in Fresno and in the Bay Area and in Southern California. Or not Southern California, but Sacramento.
Well, you know what made Bakersfield unique was that you were talking about really 2 generations of smart meters. The first generations were what were called power line carrier meters, where they sent the signal detailing your usage back through the power line to us.
Right.
That technology just couldn't handle the flow of information that the meter was sending us. That's why we went to the second generation.
Let's take a quick phone call here. Good morning, you're on Connect With Me. Well, you were on Connect With Me. Go ahead, continue.
You know, one of the reasons there's value to smart meter is the volume of information that it gives you as a consumer. And that's the reason why you're not just seeing smart meters in California, you're not just seeing smart meters in the United States. Worldwide, utilities are going to these meters because they give consumers the ability to control their usage by knowing hour by hour what you're using in your home.
Good morning, you're on Connect With Me. How are you? Hello? Are you there? I guess you're not. Okay. 559-265-4331 is the number. I don't know. Maybe we're having trouble with the phone lines. But the smart meters, are you willing to admit that the smart meters are not always accurate?
Oh, we've said that numerous times, that, you know, when you're talking about 10 million mechanical or electronic devices, you're going to have meters, and we have had meters that have had issues.
So what can you do if you get a bill in the mail and you have a dispute with PG&E, and the answer they give you, like we saw in that piece a couple of years ago that ran, and I've experienced it, I've had friends who've experienced it, you get the same answer. Our meter is fine, it's working properly, you're using more, that's why the bill's higher.
Well,
I mean, that's the standard pat answer that you're getting, and there's no admission on PG&E's part that there possibly could be something wrong with the meter, possibly they made a mistake, possibly there's a defect somewhere along the line.
No, and we've said numerous times that we found, as you saw in the story, we found meters that were installed incorrectly. We found meters that had, you know, different electronic glitches. But we've really seen, as we've gone through this process and taken a lot of steps to protect the customers or to understand the customer concerns, we've seen a real drop-off in those concerns about usage or billing from the meters.
Let's take this call real quick. Good morning, you're on Connect With Me. How are you?
Okay. How are you?
Good, good. What's your question, quickly?
Well, I'm wondering how they explain when you got a small house and only 2 people living in it and your habits are the same constantly, whether it's cool or whether it's hot, and the bill just all of a sudden jumps way up one month from the other. How do they explain that?
Well, that's the question I had. I don't know. I'm still not clear on that, but I thank you for your call. Denny, do you want to address that again?
You know, like I said, it's difficult without talking to the specific customer and looking at their bill. And off air, I mean, I'd like to look at yours and maybe give you a little better understanding of, or gain a little better understanding myself what happened.
Okay.
But we see a variety of things that happen, and we see some things that we would have never been able to recognize without the smart meter. I can tell you during a radio show in Bakersfield, we had a customer call in. Their bill had jumped up on average $200 a month, and they couldn't figure out why. We look at their smart meter, and we see an unusual spike every day at 2 a.m. going back 2 months. We asked the customer, what goes on at your house at 2 a.m.? Pool pump. Her pool pump had gone out. It was just basically spinning at 2 o'clock in the morning. She was able to get it fixed. Now, that's not going to be every customer, and we're not going to see every customer that had some malfunction in their house. Every situation is unique.
Another quick call. Good morning. You're on Connect with me. How are you?
Hi.
Quick question.
I have
Hurry.
a question.
Hurry.
Oh, well, my question is, how did we get a rate increase even though now we don't have to pay for people to come out to our meters every month? So that amount of money has gone away. How come that doesn't equal out with our rates? Shouldn't it be less now that we don't have to pay all those extra employees to come out to read our meters?
So the purpose behind smart meter was not to eliminate the meter reader. That's another common misperception. The purpose behind it was a larger national goal, which we were directed by the CPUC to follow, of a smart grid, a grid that gives you the ability to see demand immediately, to, if a customer's electricity goes off because of any kind of outage, to see it remotely. To do programs during the clip you showed, she referenced, and it was a little incorrect, the ability by the utility to reduce your energy. There's a program called Smart AC where if you volunteer for it, during peak days we can actually turn the compressor off on your air conditioner remotely for brief periods of time to reduce demand.
All right, we're out of time in this block, but I do want to go over because I want to put some PG&E rates, electric rates up on the screen, and I want to compare those to SMUD. SMUD is the Sacramento Municipal Utility District up in Sacramento, of course, obviously. These are the PG&E rates for electricity. If you look up on the screen there, 14 cents per kilowatt hour, that's for Tier 2, 29 cents per kilowatt hour if you're on Tier 3. Now, switch over to SMUD in Sacramento. In Sacramento, this is what they're paying versus the Central Valley. In the winter, 9 cents per kilowatt hour over the baseline, and it could go up to 17 cents. Okay, we understand that. But summer, it's 10 cents per kilowatt hour over the baseline, and it could jump up to 18 cents. Why the differences in price? Why is PG&E higher? Aren't you guys getting the electricity from the same place?
Well, you're seeing kind of a snapshot there. I believe that you're seeing 2 of our 4 tiers, and I think you're seeing 2 of SMUD's 3 tiers.
But SMUD, I mean, my point of showing that is that SMUD, generally speaking, is much, much lower in their rates.
No, and I was a SMUD customer at one point when I worked for PG&E in Sacramento. They're municipal. They're not regulated the same way. They're not required to do the same things that we as a publicly owned utility are required to do, including the renewable portfolio standard. They're not required to purchase a percentage of their electricity from renewable resources like we are. They have similar programs, and eventually they will be required, but their rates have always been different than ours. There's, the way that California as a state structures its electrical rates is to encourage conservation by higher rate. We as a state have seen essentially flat energy usage over the last 20 years. As nationwide it's gone up tremendously, and it's because our rates are structured to encourage conservation.
I am long, but I want to take this call real quick. Good morning, you're on Connect with me. Let's make the call quick. What's your question?
I have a question on your baseline amounts on PG&E bill. Would like to know how they are set and if anything can be done on an individual basis to have them adjusted.
So
good question.
The baselines are set in what are called weather zones. I think there's 17 or 18 weather or climate zones throughout the state. Obviously, here in Fresno, you're going to need more electricity in the summer than a customer who lives along the coast. So your climate zone determines your daily baseline, which then determines the amount of essentially cheap electricity you get every month. there's not really a way you could adjust that for an individual customer, but there are a lot of things customers can do to lower their electric costs. You and I talked briefly earlier about solar.
Yeah, do solar and do some other things. We got to take a break. We'll come right back on Connect with Me. We have a limited amount of time left in the show. Back in a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified, ready, steam-equipped, high-efficiency Frigidaire affinity place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Frigidaire laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Okay, welcome back. We want to put some rates up on the screen. We want to compare electric rates nationally and versus PG&E. Let's put that up on the screen right now real quick. We got a limited amount of time before we actually have to say goodbye on this day. We want to put those up. PG&E on average electric bill is about $90 a month. For gas, it's about $46. Now that's a little bit lower than the national average, if we can put that up. Nationally, the average is about $108 a month for electric bill, and for gas, it's about $65 a month. So you're still below the national average, but that doesn't satisfy a lot of customers here in the Central Valley.
No, we understand that. I mean, you have to consider when you're talking about the PG&E average bill, you're factoring customers who live along the coast, customers who live in the Bay Area, and customers who live in the Central Valley, all of whom are going to have different experiences on their electric use. And over the last several years, we've looked at that and started taking some steps, working with the CPUC and the state to lower those bills. A couple years ago, our top tier, or tier 5, was at 49 cents, and our leadership realized that wasn't sustainable. You were talking about a structure that was put in place to encourage conservation, but it was getting to the painful level and beyond the painful level for a lot of our customers. We were able to eliminate that top tier, reduce our top rate to about 36 cents. We're also looking at, we made some changes. If you think about, one of the things that's hard to understand for a lot of customers is our profit isn't tied to the amount of electricity you use. It's decoupled, where essentially our profit is set every 3 years by evaluation of our assets.
Okay, we've got 2 minutes left. I want to say that PG&E had a rate increase of 2.4% in 2011. For this year, starting in January, the rates went up by 2.9%. Something I saw on the internet, in the wake of the deadly 2010 San Bruno explosion, with $1.96 billion of that money coming from customers, and last month, PG&E requested approval to raise $539.5 million more from ratepayers, largely to pay for the cost of buying more renewable power from wind farms and solar power plants, and as a result of that San Bruno explosion. Your response to that?
Well, one of the things that I think the entire nation realized after San Bruno was that our gas infrastructure, not just PG&E's, but nationwide, needed to be updated, needed to be modernized.
But why should ratepayers have to pay for that?
It's basically a recognition that they're going to benefit from an improved, more safe system.
Shouldn't PG&E? I mean, the argument is PG&E should pay out of their own pocket for that.
Well, and that's the discussion that's going on at the CPUC right now. A percentage of it, our shareholders will pay a percentage of that. What that percentage will be is what's being discussed at the CPUC.
Is there another rate increase on the horizon for 2013?
We're actually, one of the things that's not really recognized is our rates are adjusted every year. We do a 3-year rate case where we say to the CPUC, we believe this is what it will cost to operate our business over the next 3 years. Then every year you adjust. If gas prices are lower and it costs less to generate electricity, rates for the next year could go down. They fluctuate all the time.
This is a topic, I mean, we could go 2 hours on this. Maybe we should do a 2-hour special one day and take all kinds of phone calls.
I'll come back whenever you'd
We
like.
didn't beat up on you too bad, did we?
No. No, and I mean, the important thing I would say is if a customer has a question, any question, they can either reach out to you and you'll pass it to me, or they can call us directly.
Okay, we got to go or I'm going to get cut off. Denny Boyles, come back, will you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Promise?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Denny Boyles of PG&E. Tomorrow, we've got Bill Dietzel coming in. Hey, it is Veterans Day. On Sunday, we're going to talk about the big parade. See you tomorrow.
Do you like me?
Just like me.
Like Me TV Fresno on Facebook. Get the latest news, interact with others, watch videos, become a fan of me. Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.